Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video, I'm going to talk about setting up your MAG or your mutual assistance group. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Uh, it can go by many names, but the idea of calling it a mutual assistance group, exactly what it sounds like. You and a group of people are going to, enter into some sort of agreement that you will assist each other. So I've got my brother and a couple of friends that we talk about what we're, buying, prepping wise. We discuss plans on what we're going to build at the bug out location. We, consolidate funds on some things, and then we have discussions on, creating, levels of uniformity. I'd say, the most recent thing that has benefited our group is, I was 15 when I got my Mosin, and my little brother just bought a Mosin about, 8 years after the fact, and we were having the discussion of, I've got 8 years worth of ammo and shooting the gun, which I don't really have all that much ammo for this gun. It's 400 or 500 rounds. But the brother that has 40 rounds, because he bought 2 boxes the day he got it, now we have 2 firearms that can be used for, the one ammo that both of us generate. That's one of the things we've discussed. I'm going out next weekend to clear a path at the bug out location that we can get building materials in to build an 8x10 shed that is going to be storage for, food and other supplies that we wouldn't want to leave out there right now. And, we're also going to put gutters on it and set up a rain catchment system. I believe we're going to meet up in January or February to, put this thing together. And, one person spending that money, it'd be a little bit rough to do it by yourself. Building it by yourself would be a little bit rough. But when you have, 3 people show up, the task gets easier and easier. So those are some of the examples that, my mutual assistant group is doing right now. But we do have a set of rules, a set of guidelines. We have, an interview process for getting more people involved, and that's what I'm going to run through in today's video. So if you like the idea of this, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have anyone that you know that'd benefit from this discussion, go ahead and send them my way as well. So for the longest time, it was just me and my brother planning all this stuff out. But, we had this discussion with a friend that was, we were both friends with him. And, he showed interest in, this preparedness mindset. And, back then, the interview process wasn't, all that hashed out. And it was more just, chit-chatting on a video game about it. But what the 3 of us have come up with, which we have 2 more people that my brother is talking with and, seeing their potential, is we don't want to have anyone that would join the group that are going to be any type of hindrance. You want more assets than you want liabilities. So the first thing that we came up with was having a 1-year supply of food, or a track record showing that you will obtain a 1-year supply of food. Because, hitting that 1-year mark is a very ambitious goal, especially right as you start out. And depending on your financial situation, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you can see that this person, with each paycheck, if they're paid weekly, if they're putting, an extra day's worth of food back each week, that's, 4 days a month, 48 days a year, they are well on their way to hitting that 1-year point. And they're showing evidence that they want to reach these type of goals, and they're showing that they're going to be an asset instead of a liability. The second thing on the list is 1 month's worth of water, or building to that point of having 1 month's worth of water. So if you're only able to buy one 5-gallon water container each month, or even every 2 months, that's still showing that at the end of a year you're going to have 12 5-gallon containers and the ability to store 60 gallons of water, which, if you're going off of the bare bones minimum, you've actually hit 2 months worth of water storage. The next thing is having a combination of pistol, rifle, shotgun. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts within this, because we might be talking to someone that's 19 and can't buy a pistol and doesn't have anyone that's gifted them a pistol or anything like that. Someone, they didn't go the I'm gonna get a rifle route, but I got a crossbow for deer hunting or whatever. That's a perfect example of we're making a little bit of an exception. And then we've got 500 rounds of ammunition for each one. Ammo is expensive. Again, it's one of those showing proof of you are adding preps. It doesn't have to, be something that you accomplish in 3 months. It took me about 5 years to have 10,000 rounds of 22 ammo. And, I haven't been a very good prepper. I'm probably down to about 6,500 now, because I just haven't been putting it back as I'm using it. I've gifted it to friends and family who, have those firearms, and maybe I was tight on money, so I was able to do that and still show that, you care about those kind of people. But, it takes a long time. None of this is going to happen overnight. I've been putting preps aside since I was 13 or 14 in high school. And, in college, it was wishy-washy on how much I'm able to spend each month being a delivery driver. And then the way the economy is and inflation, all of the things on this list are not hard lines. Oh, you only have 8 months worth of food, you're not getting in. You only have one rifle, you're not getting in. It's not, a make or break kind of thing. It's just, if you are showing that you either have it or you are building up to that point, again, it's all about asset building. Because there are going to be some things, within your group that some people have, this item and other people's don't. One of my friends has about 500 watts of solar. And, he's got the little portable battery bank that is like 5 times the size of the one that I have. It's strong enough to power a mini fridge and TV and a sleep app and all these different things. He spent several thousand on it, and I don't have that right now. So there's a list of other things. We talk about first aid, we talk about shelter and a bug out bag. The miscellaneous category is tools and building materials, and there's a huge list of what needs to be had. One of the things that we've told everyone in the group they need to get within the next 5 or 6 months is a Bofang UV5R, I think, or UV5. It's a $35 radio. It allows the group to communicate at worst about a mile apart from each other. And in the best conditions, you're looking at, 2 or 3. And in the extreme, it's, they've shown up to 10 miles. But that involves, height and, setting up antennas and stuff. But for the location that we have and, the bug out that we plan on doing, our group should not be more than, 5 miles apart from each other at any point. And so, you're also making a commitment that, as you reach these milestones, there are other things that maybe you're going to focus on more. This person is going to focus on this more. There's uniform things across the platform that, we want to happen. It's also just not hitting a stagnant point of, okay, I've hit this point, I met all the requirements, now I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. Because another requirement is, we're not making each other, take a physical fitness test in front of each other, but we do have discussions on what we're doing to keep ourselves physically fit. That's this whole checklist thing, but then we do have a short interview where we ask questions on, why are you wanting to get prepared? What's your motivator? What life event happened that made you go, oh crap, things were kind of bad. That's something that we'd like to know. For some people, like for me, it was watching The Walking Dead, and I seriously thought there was going to be a zombie apocalypse. For others, it's, seeing what's going on with the border, seeing what's going on with the economy, living through a hurricane, living through a tornado. There's a multitude of things that is why people, start a prepping journey. Our other questions are, what is your capability of getting to the bug out location? So one of my friends is actually stationed down in Eagle Pass right now, and it's a good 9-hour drive to get to the bug out location. And he drives like a Toyota Corolla or Camry or one of those little sedans, and he keeps 8 gallons of gas on him 24/7. And that is just enough that if his tank was at absolutely zero, he could get up here. So, that's a commitment that he's made. We set up a goal setting as well that says, what are your goals within the next year of prepping? How would a group help you reach these goals? And then, there's also the discussion on, what are the skills that you have? What are you bringing to the table? Because I'm a teacher. I go camping a lot. I've been involved in scouting a lot. I would say my bushcraft skills are very, very high. And I've spent a lot of time learning a lot of different skills. Other people are going to go through other things. Someone might be a mechanic. Someone might be a nurse or a veterinarian. This person might be a firefighter, or this person... Maybe we don't want someone that's involved in politics, but every job out there has its own skill sets. Even the person that is cooking food at Chipotle, they might have a little bit more knowledge on preparing food and making it taste good than other people have. So, we write that down. Then we also write down the group's weaknesses. I've talked about it before. I'm a diabetic. I do take medicine, and I have spent 2.5 years since I became a diabetic saving as much of the medicine as I can. And I'm able to do that through diet and exercise. So a lot of the medication that I take is based off of what the blood sugar is. So the day that I go on a 6-mile ruck, I don't take any medicine at all because my blood sugar never gets over 100. Versus my birthday, we go out to eat and we have a huge meal, and then we get a brownie bazooka that is all the calories I need for the entire day, and I'm taking a pill, I'm taking a shot, I'm doing whatever. There's a lot of days that I don't have to take medication, but I'm also in that discussion with my doctor saying I need my medication in a 3-month supply instead of a 1-month supply. So I'm putting that aside. Other people in your group might have allergies. Do they need an EpiPen? Do we need to have some sort of stockpile of allergy medication? Do we need this kind of medication? Do we need to be growing this because it's really difficult to store something, so we need to do a home remedy from this plant, or different things like that. And so creating a weakness chart, it doesn't kick people away. It is there to say, you know, you passed your little interview, you're meeting these requirements, or you've met these requirements, but we don't want this asset to become a liability because we weren't prepared for said issue that different people have. My brother wears glasses. One of the things that we told him he has to do, which works out really nice because he has vision and he gets one pair of glasses free each year, is he goes and gets a new pair of glasses. And his old ones don't just get thrown out. They get stored away for that scenario where his main pair breaks, he has a spare pair. And he's very fortunate that his vision doesn't change very much. So he's got, you know, 3 or 4 pair of decent glasses. He probably has 5 or 6 pairs of glasses, but some of them were questionable fashion choices, and you know, they're absolutely last resort things. So the weakness list isn't kicking anyone out, it's just making sure that our new assets, you know, don't turn into a liability or turn into a bigger problem. Because a lot of the times the people in your group are friends and family. And you know, you want to take care of yourself and your friends and family, so you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are out of your comfort zone or you're having to do something more dangerous, you know, to help out your friends and family. So that's what we have. I've heard other preppers talk about things that they add to their list, you know, what they're looking for in people, you know, how they kind of vet through their process. Like I know Viking Preparedness, they build a, you know, shed to home or a cabin out on his property. So each of the people, or typically families in his group, have their own dwelling where they store their own food inside of there. But then they have like a mass, you know, almost like a granary where everyone in the group is expected to contribute to this storage of food. And you know, his rule is if you ever leave or are kicked out, you know, the home stays on the property. Everything in it that you brought for your family, you can take with you. But the stuff that goes in the community chest pile, that's the community chest pile. It stays there. So I'm not saying you need to make some sort of contract, but, you know, something similar to it. All that being said, you know, everyone's going to have, you know, the things that they want on their list. Everyone's going to have the things that, you know, maybe don't really matter. But I think it's important to create this because surviving any type of crap hitting the fan situation is a lot better in a group than it is lone wolfing it by yourself. Or even, you know, you're the prepared person, you know, your family is a little bit prepared, but, you know, you're having to take care of a small child. It's a lot better to take care of, you know, small children or elderly people when you're in a group instead of you having to shoulder that burden mostly by yourself. All that being said, I'll say it again, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. And if you have a friend or family member that benefit from these discussions, send them my way. With that, catch you in the next one.